Hello, it's Friday the 12th of November 2021. Welcome along to our daily little chat show, boys and girls. And more good news for vegan lovers. We kind of become a vegan show almost, except I'm not one, I'm just vegetarian. Big difference between the two, as I keep mentioning. Incidentally, I have now got some more vegan bacon for us to try out soon, okay, in the coming few shows or so. This one, I think it's called Oink, O-I-N-K, vegan bacon. So that's the next one we'll be trying out. But instead of the bacon today, something that you wouldn't have thought that they would think about making vegan. And here is a clue. Ding dong. Just a moment, we need echo if I'm going to sing, dear, believe me. Ding dong merrily on high, in heaven the bells are ringing. There you go. There is a clue. It's something to do with Christmas. Well, Christmas, birthdays, celebration type things. It's in the Daily Mail this morning. Vegan lovers, scientists have developed an environmentally friendly vegan glitter. Vegan glitter from cellulose, the main building block of cell walls in plants, fruits and vegetables. Now, are you a fan of glitter? I know some of you aren't. I'm not. I'm not a fan of glitter, especially when people buy me glittery Christmas or birthday cards. It does my head in. You open that blooming thing, dear, and all the glitter drops out onto the carpet. Months and months later, you find little bits of it that have accidentally got blown under that settee that you haven't moved for months to hoover, have you? Go on, be honest with me. When's the last time you hoovered under your... I thought so. Oh, come on. Pull that settee around. There might be cockroaches under there, dear. Get rid of them. Spiders are at this moment setting up nests under your sofas and beds. Get them out, dear. Get hoovering. Ooh. I do like a hoover, don't you? Anyway, back to this. This biodegradable glitter developed at the University of Cambridge is made from cellulose nanocrystals which can bend the light in such a way to create various vivid colours. It's just as sparkly as regular glitter, and due to its natural plant-based origins can be used to jazz up food and drink, like a glass of champagne on special occasions. Now that'd look nice, wouldn't it? You imagine holding a little glass of champagne and there's little sparkly bits floating around in it that haven't cost much, that aren't actually real pieces. Am I right in thinking you can actually eat pieces of very thin gold? You couldn't do that with normal glitter. You see, normal glitter, that's made out of plastic. And I seem to remember someone getting a piece of this in their eye once and they didn't realise it had gone in their eye. Well, I mean, you must have done, because it's sharp. Isn't it? Glitter is sharp. And they got this terrible lump coming up on their eye. And it took a while for the doctor to realise, or the hospital to realise. I think they went to the hospital in the end. This is a couple of years ago, this story. And they found glitter in there, which had to remove. And, of course, the lump went down. It's dangerous stuff, glitter, and really bad for the environment. It's just plastic, and it would just sit there for ages and ages. Or if you've had a Christmas card in your carpet for several years, please, if you ever give me a Christmas, no glitter, please, no glitter. I think it's an excellent idea. Do you like glittery things? Do you? All that glitters is not gold. Remember that, my love. All that glitters is not gold. Yes. Anyway, hello to you. Welcome along to our little daily show. You're probably wondering why there is a clock there. Are you wondering why there's a clock there? Oh, I wonder why it's got a clock over there. The reason is I've just repaired it. But as you know, not very good at DIY. I have repaired the clock. Okay, I haven't tried it out yet. And here it is. There we go. Now, I had to change... The front bit comes off like that, and then you've got a piece of glass, yeah? Now, you're probably wondering where the piece of glass is, aren't you? Yes, you're right. I don't know how I broke it. I really don't know how I managed to break the glass, right? But I did. I literally lifted it out, and it snapped, like a good chunk like that came off it. So I've had to order another piece of glass. How much is glass? right? It was that circle. I measured it from side to side, and I think it was 200. Let me see what I've ordered. Just a moment, please. One moment while I refer to the textings that I sent earlier on. 225 millimetres across it is. 225 millimetres across, right? And I don't know how it happened, but nevertheless, I then went to order a piece of glass. £76? Sorry? £76 for a piece of round glass? I don't know if I did it wrong or something, but I couldn't believe it. And anyway, I thought, no, I'm not having that. Then I done another search, and I've bought a piece of acrylic, which cost me nearly just £7. £7, £12 with the delivery as well. So I've ordered a circular. I hope I've measured it. I'm not very good at measuring things. I know it sounds stupid. You know, I know how easy you find it to do DIY. If I put a tape measure from there to there, I'll probably get it wrong. But we'll see what happens. So at the moment, there's no glass on it. But this bit has all been replaced by me. I have to say, I ordered a new movement. It's a radio, you know, one of those radio receiving ones. Okay. And the old one basically just stopped receiving the radio signal. It wouldn't set itself. I kept trying and it wouldn't. So I replaced it, and I just there's a nut there which you can't really see, just about under there. Can you see that? Yeah, you can just see it under. See that nut there? So I took that. Well, the old one didn't have a nut on it actually. It was just stuck on with double-sided sticky tape. Do you know I could have done a video out of this, couldn't I? Anyway, it's too late now. It's done. So I kind of levered the other one off with a screwdriver. It just came off really easy, and put the new one in. This one came with a nut, which I've done up there. And then the hands, you literally just push them on the spindle in the correct order. Now, the hands were actually too long for this clock. I ordered the movement from eBay. And the hands were... was it eBay or Amazon? No, Amazon. I ordered the hands on Amazon and they came today. And you literally just push them on. The whole movement thing, you know, that bit and the hands, that all comes as one package. And I just pushed them on. But the hands were too long, so I had to cut them slightly to shape. You can't really see that. And that's waiting to go now, really. Also, this bit broke off here, which is how it hangs on the wall. I've fixed that with a bit of super glue. And as you can't see it, I've also put a piece of tape on it so the super glue sets in place. But I might as well leave the piece of tape on there, and you can't see that. Otherwise, it wouldn't hang on the wall. But I'm quite proud of that. Quite proud of that. I haven't tested it out. I thought I'd wait for the piece of plastic to arrive, which they say is going to be with me on Monday. And hopefully, if I've got the measurements right, it will just lay across the top, and you put that on like that, and that holds that in place. Put the battery in, use the various things on there to set it, and happy days. And hopefully away we'll go. You're probably wondering why I've bothered to repair such a cheap clock. And the reason is I got this for my 16th birthday party. Probably a bit of an unusual thing to... let's just put that there. Probably you're thinking a little bit of a unusual thing to ask for a boy's 16th birthday, a clock. Basically, it was a clock for my little pirate radio station, which I had when I was much younger. And it might have been my 18th, 16th or 18th. Do you know? I don't know. I don't know now. It was either my 16th or my 18th. And the reason I had it, well, I've had that fixed, is because that was my birthday present that year. And my mum and dad bought that for me. We went to this shop in Kingston. And I selected a quartz clock. They didn't have radio controlled clocks then. It was a quartz clock, and that's why I've had that repaired, because it's a bit special, and it used to sit in my radio little pirate radio station, and I used to read the time off it. And so that's now 40 odd years old, that clock. It's already been repaired once. I've only had to change the movement once in it, so that's the second time I've changed that. And the last time I changed the movement, it's got to be 20 years ago. They do last quite a long time. All right, so it's kind of sentimental value, and that's why I've bothered to repair that. Okay, good news on the boiler. You remember my water heater at the caravan? I told you it was having a problem firing up. The blokes did go round to change it. They've also measured me 2 new windows for the caravan. Sorry, the luxury waterside media centre in Lincolnshire. They also measured 2 windows because they're blown, and they're the 2 windows, of course, that look out onto the fields. You know, it wouldn't be the ones I don't look out of, was it? The very 2 windows that look out onto the fields, they're both blown. So they've gone round to, they measured up for those 2 windows, and also repaired the seal around the door. You can't actually get the seal for that door anymore, so it's basically a sticky one. They stick it around the door, and it's like a rubber thing, and it makes the door nice and tight when you close it. But boiler-wise, they did have a new boiler for me, but he looks at the water heater and he found a sticking micro switch, which apparently is the switch which lets the gas in and out. Not quite sure. I'm not a plumber, so I might have got that a bit wrong. But nevertheless, he asked me to say, would you be happy? I freed the switch up. Would you be happy to just see how it goes when you're up here next? So I told him. And I said, yeah, that's fine. I said, no problem at all. He said, if you're not, it's no problem. We can change your boiler over completely free of charge. But the new one is bigger and it won't go in the cupboard. So they'd have to take a wall off. They'd have to take the 2 side bits off the cupboard off, and it would be on the wall in show, which, to be honest, to me doesn't bother me. Things like that don't bother me. You know, matching cups and saucers and things like that. It doesn't bother me. Correct colour carpet in the window in the living room to match the walls. That sort of thing doesn't bother me at all. So I said, well, that's all right, but bit of a job. And then you start taking down walls and things, to fit this boiler on the wall. So I have agreed to that. So next time I go up there, hopefully it will all be working. He's also shown me where the switch is. We did a FaceTime video so that I can, if it gets stuck again, I can just go up and see if it's stuck. And he said, if you still have any problems with it, just let us know. When we come and do the windows, we'll come and replace the boiler as well. And that's free of charge. So quite happy with what's been done there. All right, that's been boiler news. Let's read a couple of your messages, gang. Thank you very much, as always, for your kind emails and messages. You can always send a message there, gang, by email. Chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, or put a little comment in the comments section underneath there. John Parrish has just sent me a very amusing video. I can't show it to you because it's someone else's work, you see. But this woman is eating it looks like an American restaurant or something like that. And while she's eating, she's got the menu in front of her there. She's scoffing her face in this thing. This large cockroach crawls across her table where the food is, and she gets her breast and smashes the cockroach to death with her breast. Some of them are very, very heavy, Thank you very much for John. That did make me laugh, I must admit. Vera's there. Hello, Vera, who says, once again, Chris, on the subject of yesterday's video, she really enjoyed it. Once again, a great video. It's nice to see Ronnie looking so well. I'm glad you enjoyed the Richmond meat-free bacon, the Richmond vegan bacon, which we tried on yesterday's show. I knew you would, she says. Also, you mentioned about milk floats. Do you remember milk floats? The old clanging of the bottles. Well, as I was walking home at 3 a.m, and I saw a milk float, I persuaded the driver to give me a lift, as I always wanted to ride in one when I was younger. And she's crossed it off her bucket list. Well done, Vera. Another thing crossed off the old bucket list, my darling. Fantastic. I used to help a milkman. I was about 7 or 8 years old, and we lived in a flat in Peckham, Droitwich House, which was on Commercial Way in Peckham. And we were upstairs. I don't know if we were at the top or not. I think we might have been at the top. I'm sure we were at the top. When I say a block of flats, I don't mean a tall, thin block. Like a long block, about 4, 5, 6 stories high. That's all it was. And we lived there. And I used to help the milkman, Peter the milkman. He used to knock at my door, and I'd see you later, Christopher, Mum would say, and I'd go and help the milkman. I think he gave me a penny or 2 pennies, something like that. And he used to give me the stuff, and I'd run up and down the stairs and deliver the milk, until one day when I always remember this, I dropped a large bottle of orange. And they all glass then. There was no plastic bottles. or cartons. It was glass. And I dropped this orange and I was so upset and I was terrified that I dropped this bottle of orange and I ran home. I ran home and I was crying and Mum was kind of, looking after me. And a little bit later, Peter knocked on the door and I wouldn't talk to him. I was so scared. Isn't that funny? I wouldn't talk to him at all. And Mum's in it. He doesn't want to hurt you, Christopher. He just wants to see if you're okay. No, I don't want to talk to him, Mum. It was all a bit like that. And I don't think I ever spoke to him again. How weird is that? Isn't that strange? It's funny that some of the things you mention, or you remember when you see like a story in the newspaper or something like that. Thank you, Vera. Andy says, watching you both cook is the highlight of my day. Please do your own cookery channel. It would be hilarious. Thank you, Andy. Do you know, the funny thing is, Andy, I don't like cooking shows. I really don't. They bore me to tears. And God knows there's enough of them on the telly now. There really is. They bore me to tears, cooking shows. They really do. Great British Bake Off or Morning Kitchen on BBC One or even like the people who know what they're talking about. Gordon Ramsay doesn't do it for me at all. Watching people cook food. Isn't that funny? I'm glad you're enjoying it. Where are we now? Paul H. Morning, Paulie H. We were talking about games, board games, weren't we? And Paulie H says, I used to play Guess Who, Operation. Guess Who? I don't know what that one is. Operation. Remember that one? It was the body, wasn't it? The bits of body, like a picture. And you had various different organs, like heart and lungs, I think. And you'd have to... had metal round them and a pair of metal tweezers, which was attached by a wire to the actual box. And you had a battery in there. And you had to fish out these little bits and pieces without touching the metal. And if you touched the metal, a buzzer would go off, wouldn't it? And then you'd killed the basin, basically. It's just like watching an episode of Holby City, isn't it? Da 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 da. That one, yeah. Operation Simon. He says, Simon. I know Simon. That's the round thing with the coloured lights in it, and you had to. It would play you a couple of lights with a tune, do do do, and you'd have to do it, do do do, wouldn't you? And you get more and more until you were out. And he says also perfection. I don't know what perfection is. He said, alas, I used to smash it up when I couldn't do it. I don't know about that one, perfection. And he says, what about Crossfire? You must remember that. No, don't remember Crossfire either. He says, good show as usual, Chris. Thank you very much, Paulie H. Thank you, sir. Scrolling up there, John Parrish, it says, yesterday's show was like watching John and Fanny Craddock. But who is who, I wonder? Also, always funny to watch you both. And yes, that bacon also does look like bacon. So Fanny Craddock, of course, apparently, and everyone knows, most people in the BBC knew this at the time, was extremely difficult to work with, apparently. She used to moan like there was no tomorrow. She was really difficult to work with, Fanny Craddock. Not pleasant to the other members of staff. I've heard that so many times. Thank you, John. And Diane Jebb says, I love the breakfast cookery shows. Thank you, Diane. I agree with Andy. You and Ronnie doing a cookery show would be great. As for the... Well, we do. We do. But as a regular thing, like all the time, I don't think he could commit to it. I don't think he'd commit to it. But, never say never. We shove him in now and again, as you know, all right? She says, as for the celebrations, you remember the celebration sweets? I was asking which ones do you not like? Because apparently the most unpopular sweets in celebrations, as mentioned yesterday, is the Little Bounty, which I quite like, actually. Do you know, now that I've said that, I fancy some chocolate. I could get an ice cream out. Shall I get an ice cream out of my fridge? Freezer, rather. What have I got? I think I've got honeycomb swirl ones from the Co-op. Just been to the Co-op earlier. Yes. As for the celebrations, the only one I'm not keen of is Milky Way. Wow, you're the only person I know that doesn't like Milky Way, Diane, in the celebrations. She said they don't get wasted. Someone always eats them. I usually get tubs of celebrations, Heroes and Quality Street. Great show as always, Chris. So thank you very much for that one, Diane. Thank you. And George Bond also likes the cooking videos. Glad you like them, George. And as you say, you know, we do bits now and again. Now, on the same sort of subject as cookery, I saw this story in the Daily Mail. I'm not really going to do the story, but the story says, dinner lady denies laundering cash for chauffeur boss husband. And it goes on. I just saw the word dinner lady there. Do you remember? If you want to send a tip, you can send it there, right, darling? Do you remember the dinner lady at school? I mean, if you're in America, say perhaps Glenda, did you have dinner ladies at school? Now, these were generally ladies who volunteered. I think they volunteered. They volunteered to come into the school. Were they volunteers or not? Actually, no, I'm not sure they were. I think Mum used to get going because my mum was one. My mum was a dinner lady. And they not the cooks, not the people cooking it or the people giving it out, okay? The dinner ladies who were walking around the playground looking after you all. Do you remember them? Did you have a favourite one? Of course, my favourite one was my mum. She was our dinner lady. And they'd all be in the playground looking after the kids and that. And of course, then you had the other cooks, which I suppose you could always class as dinner ladies as well. We would cook the meals and then serve them up. And two in particular come to my mind. There was one in my primary school. Don't know what her name was. Probably not with us now, bless her heart. But we were a little bit scared of her. And one of the things she did to me is I got this, I didn't fancy any of the dinner. And it was a cheese pie. Now, if you're a regular viewer of the show, you would have heard this before. It was a cheese pie. And I think mashed potatoes, maybe peas or something like that. I don't know. And a nice pudding, like a sponge pudding or something. Anyway, so I got this dinner and I sat down. I really didn't want the dinner. I think I ate the potatoes and then I went on to the pudding. I had the pudding. And I went over there and then you've got the slop bucket, haven't you? And I went over to scrape it in. Just a minute, boy. Just a minute, my boy. And, yes, miss. And she says to me, well, I see you've enjoyed your pudding and your custard. Perhaps you'll go back on that table now and have a piece of my cheese pie. I'd had to go back. I don't remember what happened, actually. I can't remember what happened. And I was only about, I don't know, about 7, 8, 9 years old. Something like that. In the primary school. Made me eat it. Oh, it was horrible. Cheese pie. Now I like cheese pie. Isn't it funny how your taste buds change over a period of time? So that's her. And the other cook come serving lady I remember, again, if you watch the programme regularly, you'll know, was a lady called Vera. And she used to work doing the cooking and all that at my secondary school, the London Oratory School in Fulham. And Vera was a great big black lady. And I got on really well with her. I just took to her and she took to me. But a lot of the kids were terrified of her. And it just, I don't think she liked them either. And they'd walk along with her plates, right? That please, miss. And she'd get this, and just dump it on their plate like that. And then you'd have the big vat, the tray thing, you know, like a, with tall size, tray thing of the mincemeat. And I always remember one of the boys, because it was a boys' school, we said, what's that, miss? It's shit, love. And she'd do all this without smiling. She looked quite serious. And then I'd get a, hi, Chris, what would you like? And then, again, they'd go up later on. Is there any seconds, miss? There are no seconds, love, here. And she'd pick up the whole thing and chuck it in the bin in front of you so you couldn't have any more. Not me. Chris, do you want some more of this? I don't know why I got on well with her, but I did. I thought she was hilarious. But you see, you know me. I can see humour in everything. You know, in your worst disaster or something like that, I can see humour in that as well. Some people think that's a bit sick, really, sometimes laughing at certain things that I laugh at. But that's how I deal with things. You'll know, if you've had perhaps something serious in your life. And we all deal with different things in a different way, maybe you've lost a leg or something like that, you know, then I really feel for you. But I would turn that into something funny, and some people would laugh, other people wouldn't. It's not funny. It's not funny, but that's often how people deal with it. And I think we all deal with disasters in a different way, don't we, my loves? All right, that's it for the show today. Thanks very much for joining me. We never have a show usually on a Saturday because I'm very busy on the Saturday. Maybe Sunday, if not Monday. Okay, thank you very much for watching and listening. And I'll see you soon. Bye.